All right, a very good evening. You're watching India Today going live with me, Nabila Jamal. Let me take you through the roundup of today's news. I'll start with a scare that India has received as about 8 passengers who've arrived from the United Kingdom into India at the Delhi airport. 5 of them at the Delhi airport, two in Kolkata, 1 in Chennai, have tested positive of COVID-19. Now, remember how I did mention to you about how the new virus strain has been found in United Kingdom, which is said to be a lot more virulent, 70% more infectious, and is more likely to spread much faster. Like I said, a lot more infectious, but not so deadly. Now, that's exactly what the fear is, that these people who've landed into India, have they brought the new COVID strain along with them into the country? That's the fear, and that's what India is now backtracking on. They're checking, they're contact tracing. About 226 passengers landed on that flight, from that flight into India, and now tracking them, tracing them. The activity is currently underway, but at the moment the samples of these 8 people have been sent to labs, and we're awaiting for a test result to understand if they are positive with the new strain of the COVID-19 virus. This new strain is basically a mutated strain of the COVID-19. Like I said, more infectious but less deadly. The worry is if the vaccines, which have already been rolled out, like the Pfizer, BioNTech Pfizer, like Sputnik, for that matter, Moderna, that's been rolled out, are they going to be effective on this mutated version of the virus is the question. But while I say that, at the same time, the Pfizer company has come out to assure that they're going to come up with a new vaccine in 6 weeks' time, which can counter this mutated strain of the virus. So they're confident that this strain is something that they understand very well, because this is mutated, it's got the same genetics, and they can come down with a vaccine in 6 weeks' time that could battle and fight this new COVID strain as well. That leaves us with the question then, is the current version of the vaccine effective enough for the new strain? So those who've already got the vaccine, the current version of the vaccine, should they get another vaccine to fight the more mutated or the more virulent strain? To fight that, should there be another round of vaccine that should be given? A lot of questions that's still under study, and that the medical fraternity is currently observing. Now, while I say that, that's some bad news, I'm going to come to the good news there to give you some spirit and hope. India has promised that by January there will be the first round of vaccines that will be rolled out, and to confirm that, today we hear that the first set of vaccines will be reaching Delhi by end of December. In another week's time, we should have like the first consignment of the vaccine reaching New Delhi. Now, in fact, we understand that about 3,500 healthcare workers across of India are already currently being trained to administer this vaccine. Many of the doctors, frontline workers, have already been advised on how to administer the vaccine. Training programs is currently underway. So our medical fraternity is gearing up and warming up to inoculate the entire population of India, at least by early October. That's the promise that the health ministry has made. Of course, this is the entire population by October. The frontline workers, healthcare workers, those with comorbidities, those above the age of 50, they are going to get vaccinated much earlier, maybe by Jan, Feb, March, early next year, basically. Now, as we speak of the COVID-19 virus being on the rise, despite the numbers dipping, the daily case load dipping in India, the fact is numbers are still on the rise. They're still reported at least 20,000 cases on a given day across the country. Now, despite it claiming so many lives, we are looking at many cases of violations of COVID protocols. In fact, in Mumbai itself, 3 celebrities were arrested by the Mumbai police after they flouted COVID protocols. They were partying away at a club. It's not about partying, it's about adhering to the protocols in place. The club was supposed to shut before 11 p.m. Because of COVID-19 rules in place, they're supposed to shut early. They didn't shut. The club was open at until 3 a.m.-ish. The police raided by around 3 a.m. 3 celebrities were arrested during that raid as well. That included Suzanne Khan, Suresh Raina, and Guru Randhawa, beg your pardon. 3 of these celebrities were arrested, and they were out on, eventually given bail, and they were out. 34 people on the whole were booked, and the staff members of that club also booked. So they have violated COVID protocols, and the Mumbai police say that this is a statement that they want to send out, alerting people not to flout rules at a time when the COVID situation is still evolving. Like I said, the UK strain, the new virus strain, is indeed sending worrying signals to India as well, because for all you know, India has battled it through the year. Many lives have we've lost. We don't want another strain, and we don't want to be irresponsible to invite something that we can't handle at this moment. India is still fragile like many other countries. We should watch out for our own, and people with responsibility like the celebrities must be a lot more cautious and send out the right message to their fans and followers. But it seems like they were irresponsible, they were arrested and now booked. Absolutely embarrassing to say the least. This is a Dragonfly club in Mumbai that was raided, and many other clubs were also raided. Mumbai police saying they're unsparing. In fact, if it's a VVIP or a VIP, they're all the more strict, and they're booking them with FIRs that's been registered. So they're not sparing anyone with influence. It's all the more worse for them. Now, quickly on the UK flights that are coming in and going out of India, India has now cancelled it, or rather suspended it, until the 31st of December in view of this new variant of the virus. They don't want the virus to come into India, but still these 5 people who've tested positive, they've the cases now has sent out some triggered some worrying signals for India as well. Now, what India has done in many of the cities, including Mumbai, let me start with, they've come up with some stringent curfews for international travelers coming in from anywhere. In fact, Mumbai has said those coming in from UK, of course, apart from that, Middle Eastern countries as well. So far, those coming from Dubai and all the Middle Eastern countries had a free hand to come into Dubai. They had to just get a COVID negative test report, and if it's the RT-PCR report is negative, then they can get into Mumbai city. But now strict precautions, therefore now they're all going to be quarantined. It's a mandatory quarantine period. So you come in with a negative test report, that's still not going to work. You've got to come in, stay in quarantine. On the 5th day, take a test as per the instruction by the Mumbai authorities there. And then once you test negative, then you get out. If you test positive, there's another 15-20 days that you'll have to be in quarantine. So if you are coming into these cities like Mumbai, for that matter, even Bangalore is taking precautions. But so far, no airline restriction as yet, or airport restriction as yet. But nonetheless, those coming in from UK are strictly going to be quarantined. And that's the word that's given by the Indian government. So in every city or state, those coming from the UK will be restricted. They will be quarantined, tested, and only then let go. Now, apart from that, let me take you through the the COVID protocols in place ahead of the New Year's and the Christmas festivities. Many cities like Mumbai has said complete ban on a night curfew, in fact, that's been put in place from 11 p.m. all the way to 6 a.m. So your 12 o'clock celebration gala time that you would ideally want to have with your friends, a large gathering will not be allowed. Have it in your private setting with a smaller group, I guess that's allowed. Even in Bangalore, they say no street celebrations. Bangalore is big on Brigade Road and MG Road festivities, the huge crowds that gather in the midnight at 12 and they celebrate, but all that will not be allowed this year. It's a big no-no. No DJ parties as well. So does that mean that no pubs will also be allowed to function? It seems like that's what Yadurappa is signaling at, that they're not going to be club parties. Maybe bars will be allowed as long as they have just dedicated tables and enough social distancing and people just maintaining COVID protocols. But no proper heavy clubbing, crowded areas, all that is going to be a big no-no. Even in Chennai, the government has said that the beach area parties will be completely banned. There won't be any parties and large gatherings that will be allowed at restaurants, resorts, hotels, or anywhere. So New Year celebrations, a big dampener owing to the COVID-19 rise. So these are the restrictions. Let me quickly cut across to the political developments across the country. Let's start with Jammu and Kashmir DDC polls. It's very interesting to see the trends that's coming in. So far, as of now that we saw, Gupkar Alliance seemed to be leading in the DDC polls, and while the BJP is leading in the Jammu region, where it is their stronghold, the Gupkar Alliance is leading in the Kashmir region, the Kashmir Rally region, and they also have a stronghold there. But so far, on the whole, Gupkar Alliance is on the lead. But what's very interesting to see is the others bracket. That's got about 50 odd seats, and that's interesting to see how independents are making their way. Several new faces are on the rise People are probably looking at an alternative leadership. They don't want the Gupkar alliance, they don't want the BJP, they want someone new who would promise them what they want. So grassroots level politics, the DDC, District Development Council polls, the first after the abrogation of Article 370. It's going to be interesting to see the results. It's a ballot paper counting that's happening currently, that's underway, and maybe only later today will the actual results come out. But it's a big test for the BJP, who claim that they have huge support within Jammu and Kashmir over abrogation of Article 370. And of course, on the other hand, for the Gupkar alliance, who've all come out, clubbed together and fought this DDC election together after initially hesitating to fight the DDC polls. Now they've come together, fought it together. It's a test for them as well, because they are promising people that they're going to reinstore or replace Article 370 that was abolished. Now, quick word on what's happening in Tamil Nadu. The AIADMK, in fact, the DMK, the opposition there, they're upping their ante against the ruling AIADMK. Stalin, who is the supremo of the DMK, has approached the governor along with his leaders, giving the governor some proof of corruption charges against some of the AIADMK sitting ministers. He says that they are corrupt, and he has proof to that. He's handed it over to the governor, and the names include SP Velumani, whose name is here, who DMK alleges of corruption, Vijay Bhaskar and Tangamai, along with Jay Kumar, several others who he says are also involved in this corruption case. So he gives out proof to the governor, saying that these people must be acted upon. They should not be allowed to continue as ministers. This is, of course, election mood heating up. It may be true or not. It's for the authorities to indeed investigate and initiate action against corrupt leaders. But the timing of it is interesting. DMK giving this proof to the governor, asking them to act as assembly elections in Tamil Nadu is early 2021. Now, a quick word on Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. It was very interesting to see him speak at the Aligarh Muslim University today at their 100-year centenary celebrations. It was all about diversity, unity in diversity, about India's culture, about how Indian Muslims, Hindus, Christians have always lived together happily as a society. And no political, one should not look at Indian culture or Indian society through a political prism, and India should celebrate its diversity. That's what the Prime Minister said. The Aligarh Muslim University faculty also were on the same narrative. In fact, Prime Minister lauded Aligarh Muslim University's efforts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. It lauded the many scholars or the many those exceptional students who passed out of Aligarh Muslim University. He said that the university is in fact a reflection of India, of what India is. India is diverse. So is Aligarh Muslim University, and that should keep it. They should keep it that way. In fact, Modi also spoke about the number of initiatives he's rolled out for Muslim women to be educated. He said crores of Muslim girls are currently educated. The numbers were much lower earlier. It's much higher now. So that's a sign towards development and uplifting the Muslim community on the whole. Now, Prime Minister Modi has spoken at the Aligarh Muslim University, the first Prime Minister after 56 years of this university established. This is Prime Minister Modi who's now taken the stage. A quick word on Prime Minister Modi as we speak. US President Donald Trump has presented the prestigious Legion of Merit of Legion of Merit award to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Prime Minister got this top US honor for his leadership in elevating strategic partnership of the two countries and the emergence of India as a global power. This is Trump's initiative that he has given to Prime Minister Modi. Now, a quick word on Bollywood actor Arjun Rampal. Now, Arjun Rampal seems to be in the dock once again. NCB, who had raided his premises, found this particular tablet called, I'm going to tell you that exactly without me, Tramadol. It's called Tramadol tablet, which is a restricted tablet, and it's a tablet that's scheduled drug under the NDPS Act. In fact, those who have it must have a prescription. You can't just go over the counter and pick up this drug. So this drug was found in Arjun Rampal's residence. It's a tablet, strip of the tablet, and Arjun Rampal provided a prescription to the NCB saying that he was prescribed by a doctor to take it. Now, there seems to be some reports emerging that the doctor has denied this fact, saying that he has not prescribed this to Arjun Rampal, and this prescription could just be fake. It's a backdated prescription is what the suspicion that the NCB has, and now NCB is now interrogating, questioning Arjun Rampal, and they're probing into this angle of it. And if at all this prescription is found to be false and fake, then Arjun Rampal might just face arrest. So that's that. It's more or less the roundup of today's news. It's also a quick word as I wrap up. Farmers' protest that enters day 27, and they're still sitting in dharna along the border areas asking for a complete rollback of the farm laws. They're still trying to hold talks with the government. Hopefully a date and time will be decided soon for the next round of talks. 6th round of talks between the government and farmers have failed. The farmers continue to sit in protests. Thank you very much for watching. Do stay tuned for all the news and updates that I come up with every day at around 5 p.m. the same time.